All right, I thought this could be a fun idea for a video. There's a chance that some people are saying, how is this even a question? If you didn't hear, Chris Sims, he always the guy who gets the eyeballs on him, and I think that, is very interesting to listen to always. He put Hendon Hooker above Anthony Richardson, which is, it's a take, although I don't think it's as crazy as maybe some people believe. And I think that talking about the debate of which one is better could be interesting to me. I think this is something that might not necessarily just, Walt's talking about these two players, specifically, could be more just talking about just how you evaluate players in general and how you value certain traits that certain players have, specifically at the quarterback position. Because first, to set the stage, if you have no idea who these guys are, the general consensus on both of them is Richardson is this boomer bust prospect, the guy who his ceiling is as high as it can be, his floor is as low as it can be. Maybe he'll show up in the NFL and look like he doesn't belong there. Maybe he'll show up in the NFL and look like everyone else doesn't belong there because he'll look that impressive. We just don't know. There's issues in his game, specifically his accuracy issues, I think, are the biggest thing. But cannon of an arm, incredible athlete, could potentially work. Hendon Hooker is a little bit different. Hooker is someone who I think has just been a much better college player than Richardson has. I don't think there's even really an argument for that. Older, for sure. Guy's 25 right now, so he was 24 last year. Looked awesome, but again, playing against guys significantly younger than you, you're going to look better in that situation, and we see it happen all the time where players, have a good year when they're 24 and then don't really amount to much after that. It happens, and it is something you have to pay attention to, and NFL teams do pay attention to this stuff. Again, like this is the thing, like in baseball, people looked at this and realized that, hey, younger players that play better in college or, wherever they're playing end up actually amounting to more than older players who do it. Like paying attention to age is an important thing to do, just because when you're older, you play better. That tends to be the case, especially in those formative years where you're barely an adult. So Hooker also coming off an injury, but again, his issues are kind of external. He's older and he's coming off of an injury. Richardson's issues are he has not yet shown that he is an effective quarterback, right? It reminds me of a famous meme from the 2017 draft class, which was like, talking about every single one of the quarterbacks' issues. I believe it was 2017, maybe it was 2016. It was the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen draft, the Baker Mayfield one. And it was talking about everyone's issues. And when it got to Josh Allen, his biggest weakness is he can't throw the football, which is very funny and also worth mentioning. He's the one who ended up probably being the most successful out of that draft class. I mean, Lamar won an MVP, but I would still say past couple years at least, Allen has been the better player. But again, if those are Richardson's issues, is that, okay, does a lot of things well, but can't throw the football, that's his issue. There have been players who have fixed that, specifically one of them, and his name is Josh Allen, right? Like there has been a player who has done that, and while maybe it's taking a big risk because the average player does not fix those things, it certainly is. There's a huge risk factor with the reality that, who knows if he will be able to fix that or not. The upside is just so good of getting Josh Allen 2.0, the potential of that happening is just like you would give up so many draft picks for that. I mean, if a team gave up 3 first-round draft picks for Josh Allen, you'd immediately say, like, oh, wow, what are the Bills doing? Why are you giving up Josh Allen for 3 first-round picks? And he's getting paid now, too. So, you don't even get the rookie contract thing happening. So, because of that, it makes you think that, okay, it's probably worth the risk to draft Anthony Richardson in the first round if you feel like you have, even a 1 in 4 chance of making it work. It's probably worth the risk in that scenario. But what about Hendon Hooker? What about someone like him who maybe you could even get in round 2 or late in round 1? That feels like that might be worth it. If you're the Carolina Panthers, for example, don't trade up to 1 and draft Richardson, stay at 9 and draft Hooker, maybe even trade back and then draft Hooker. Something like that might make more sense because, again, there's total reason to believe that Hooker could never amount to anything, especially since he's not going to end up being a super high draft pick. The fact that he's probably going to be a second rounder who won't play much his rookie year, how much are teams really going to give him a fair shot? He's going to probably have to show a lot more, a lot quicker than Richardson will. So just when we're talking about takes, the reality is the take that Hooker will be better than Richardson probably won't age overly well unless Hooker becomes, unless Richardson just completely flames out, right? There's a better chance, I would say, that the take that Richardson works better would work, because there's a chance that Hooker would have worked but just never gets the right opportunity. However, again, if you're a team and you want to give Hooker the opportunity, I can totally see him being an effective player. I also think it's fair to talk about his ceiling and what could he bring to the table, because the way I view quarterback play in general is you really want an elite quarterback or a good quarterback that you're not paying much money. The Daniel Joneses of the world, Derek Carrs, Dak Prescott's, maybe that's disrespectful to Dak and Derek Carr to put Jones in that conversation, but you know what I mean. The mid-tier quarterbacks that are getting paid elite quarterback money, Ryan Tannehill, there's plenty. When I think about those players, they're not really that valuable, right? I don't know if that's actually good to have on your roster necessarily. Now, granted, I would put Stafford in that tier, or at least in a similar tier. Many people wouldn't, but I would. However, he played elite in the playoff run and was able to kind of get that star performance and win a Super Bowl that way. But that is very rare, and those kind of quarterbacks don't typically work. So if Hooker can't be the elite quarterback but can be a middling quarterback, and you're already losing out on his rookie year, so then his second year will be what you find out what he can do. So after that year, if you find out that he can play, you really only get 2 years of him at cheap value. The fifth-year option is still, you're paying him a chunk of money at that point. You're really having a small window if you don't believe he can be elite. So which one would I personally go after? I think Richardson has the better chance to become someone who wins a Super Bowl. And that's the goal at the end of the day. So I think I would pick Richardson over Hendon Hooker. I don't think it's a crazy take to say that you prefer Hendon Hooker, but the way I see it, I think they both have bust potential. I do. I think there's issues with drafting both of them. Hooker's are a bit more out of his control than Richardson's are. Richardson's is an actual game thing of accuracy. But I do think that there's the upside with Richardson that if he can become a Josh Allen, if he can become a Patrick Mahomes, a Cam Newton, those are, Allen hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's gotten close, I would say. Cam Newton got very close, and Mahomes has won a couple. If he can become one of those guys, it's probably worth the risk for me. So I think I would go Richardson over Hooker, but I understand the argument both sides. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.